Randy, stand up, if you will. You were in the back, correct?
Yes.
How'd you feel?
Well, I definitely felt like being in the back, you got to see everyone else, but those in front of us didn't get to see us.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, interesting. Diane, stand up, if you will. You were way in the back.
Yes.
What was your reaction to that?
I've always thought that there are people who probably have it a lot worse than I do. Maybe not worse, but I've had just more privilege than other people. And so to find myself in the back, it made me wonder, wow, where have we walked?
This is your student that we were talking to here. Talk about some of the challenges that you think are faced here.
She is an immigrant, and her parents are immigrants. And immigration, I think, we don't think about that as possibly leading to a lack of privilege, right? Not having the right language, speaking with an accent, and not having the knowledge and the resources to be able to integrate into society the way that America expects us to integrate, right? Because if you speak with an accent, you're automatically assumed that you're a foreigner. But even if you just look like this and look like Diana, people assume that you're not American.
Many Americans thought Asians just had it made.
We're going to talk about those subtle insults. They're what are referred to as microaggressions. What do these statements really mean, and have you been doing some of these things without being aware of it? We'll be right back.
As a large black man, there's another level to it where I walk in, I'm either security or suspect. Either he's here to protect us or we're about to have some trouble.
And later,
if I'm part of the problem, the white privilege problem, I have to be part of the solution. I have to be able to be heard.
Coming up next Thursday, it's Dr. Phil's Scam Week.
it's happened to you once, it's happened to you twice, but you get her pregnant again.
He claims his wife put 8 of their children up for adoption without him knowing.
She's having babies and putting them on the market, and you didn't figure that out.
Now,
You took my innocence? You took my trust from men?
his children want answers.
I feel like my mom sold me like a piece of furniture.
I believe they just wanted money, and I just want him to admit that.
Plus, a marriage therapist believes she's in a relationship
You're sending this money to somebody you've never met.
with actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
He told me he was putting the money aside to leave his wife.
who's really behind the scam. And then, she pretended to have a firefighter husband,
None of that's true.
No.
collecting thousands in donations.
What'd you do with it?
I donated as much as I possibly could.
And now,
You've had 7 fake pregnancies.
she's about to face off
She was claiming that your son was her child.
She is a disgusting human being.
with a woman she lied to.
Let's bring her in.
It all begins next Thursday.
Throughout my life, I have seen the effects of white privilege. You know, there was an old saying that said we should dress to impress. There was a time when I decided to go to this bank to deposit a check without having some type of a collared shirt or a sweater, and the teller questioned me 3 times. So how'd you get the check? That's the power of implicit bias. 1 year ago, I had an encounter with law enforcement. My mother, she was dropping me off at the airport. As I was unloading my baggage, a police officer turns his lights on behind us. He tells me that we need to move, and then he commands me to get against the wall. He unlocks his weapon, and at that moment, my mother even ran over to me, and she took her hands and she covered my mouth so that I wouldn't speak in such a way that would get me killed. I wonder if my name was Michael and I had blue eyes and blonde hair, would he have just said, move out of the way? The power of white privilege.
Joining us in the audience is Michael. You say you've kind of morphed into what you think the expectancy set is that will keep you from getting judged and reacted to.
Right. It's really what I call a protective factor, because the thing about, for me, white privilege is how the world perceives you, how they receive you, how they validate you. So as a man of color, when we find out there are certain protective factors, things that we cannot do, that we cannot say, or that we shouldn't say, that keep us safe, we tend to kind of get in line with that, and we shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to worry about when I go to the bank